and the shaitan would not be there at least for 3 days. We have a hadith to tell us as well how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will elevate the person who recites the Qur'an, not in this dunya, not in the hereafter, but also in this dunya. One day, Umar ibn Khattab, he said, he appointed someone to be the mayor of Mecca in his leadership. He was the Khalifa, and he made somebody to be in charge of Mecca. Mecca is like a county, and a county under which lots of provinces. Can I ask the brothers, do you have a fan here? I'm just sweating, if it's possible. So Umar ibn Khattab, he passes by this person, and who had been put, which is Abdul Harith, Nafi' ibn Abdul Harith, he put him in charge of Mecca. And he says to him, whom did you put in charge of such and such town that belongs to your province, which is Usfan? He says to him, Ibn Abi Abza, or Ibn Abza. Who is Abdul Abza? Abdul Rahman ibn Abza, who is that? He said, a mawla min mawalina, meaning a free slave. Slave, he was a slave to us, and we set him free. You know, slave set free, then you put him a mayor to such and such place. So he said, verily the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, Inna Allah yarfa'u bihada al-kitab aqwaman wa yada'u bihi akharin. Verily the Prophet of Allah would elevate people with this book that much high, and also would put them down through the book of Allah. Now, Abdul Rahman ibn Abza, what's so special about him that he had put him as a mayor? When you asked him, why you put him as a mayor? He's a free slave. He said, Messenger of Allah, he's a reciter of the Qur'an. And that's why Allah put him up to be a leader. He knows about the inheritance law. So he knows about fiqh. So once you have the Qur'an in your heart, you have the knowledge of the deen, Allah would elevate you, not in the hereafter, also in this dunya. And I'll tell you what, you will find even some kids would lead the prayer. Today I was asked by a person, there was a student of mine, he's only about 15 or 16 years old, and he goes to school, and he says to me, I've been to school, and the best amongst us is a person who's only 12 years old. Is he allowed to lead the prayer? I know that he's allowed to lead the prayer, but the kids around me who comes from another masjid, they say, no, he has to be an adult. An adult means 14, 15 plus. I said to him, didn't you mention for them the hadith of Amr ibn Shu'bah? He said, yes, I did that. I've learned it from you, Shaykh. I did that, but they don't listen to me. What is that hadith? This hadith, which is Amr ibn Salam, radiallahu anhu wa arda. He says, when my father embraced Islam, and he started coming to the Prophet of Allah, taking from him some knowledge about the religion, coming back and teaches the people, I have learned such and such, so the Prophet of Allah told us how to do the worship of Allah. He said that one day he comes, he said, the Prophet of Allah is commanding us to do the prayer in Jama'ah. And the person to lead the Jama'ah, is this a train or is this a air conditioning? Sounds like a train. So he says, the Prophet ﷺ commanded us to do a Jama'ah. And the one to lead us in the prayer, the one who knows the most about the Qur'an. So they looked around. Amr ibn Salama, he is the youngest. They couldn't find a better person who recites the Qur'an except for me. And I was 6 or 7, I can't remember. 6 or 7 years old. The way why he was a reciter of the Qur'an, caravans used to pass by his town. He used to recite Qur'an because he's a kid. He picks up quickly. You know, the kids, they pick up quickly the Qur'an. So he learned, they memorized so many verses. So they thought that he's the best. And the Prophet of Allah, he said, the one to lead is the one who knows the most about the Qur'an. And I tell you what, you're not Arabs, I am an Arab. You know, the Arabs are, in terms of leadership, they will not let go of it easily. They will fight for it. And you've seen now at the moment what they're doing. Now to make them submit to the words of the Prophet of Allah, to make a kid to lead them in the prayer, that's very hard for them. Very hard. But to tell you that these people, they listen to the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The kid led them. Not only that, he's a kid who's poor. Because every time he prostrates, his backside shows. It's Sahih Bukhari. His buttocks shows. And who sees that buttocks? The women who pray behind him. because they raise up the head later on. One of the old women, because the old, they dare themselves. The young, they're shy to say that. So the old woman, she's just shouting, cover the backside of your reciter, please. Your imam. Cover the backside. غطوا عنا استقالكم. The ist is the backside, the back. غطوا عنا, cover up the backside of your imam. So after the prayer, they bought him, because he's going to be the imam later on as well. They bought him a garment, long one. He was so happy with it. So because he's a reciter of the Qur'an, he was the imam, and also he got free dishdash, free garment. Now what made him to lead the prayer? Qur'an. That thing made him to be the leader of all these people, mashallah, old and young, and mashallah, rich and poor. What made him to lead the prayer? Is the Qur'an. Allahu Akbar. This Qur'an would not just elevate you in such a way, would elevate even your house. Your house will be distinguished from all houses. When you look at the heavens and you have clear skies, what do you see? Stars. Yes? That stars represent illuminating stars, which they are traveling to you with the lights. Now we are the inhabitants of the earth. There are inhabitants of the heaven. Who are they? The angels. They have for them stars, but different stars. You know the stars for the angels? Is your house is the one that recites the Quran. Prophet ﷺ says in the authentic hadith, verily, إِنَّ الْبَيْتَ الَّذِي يُتْلَى فِيهِ كِتَابُ اللَّهِ. The house where the book of Allah is being recited, the Quran. يَتَلَأْلَأُ. That is, it's shining to the inhabitants of the heavens like the stars are shining for the inhabitants of the earth. So every house where the Quran is recited is illuminated. I'm not talking about electricity. You could be in the middle of the desert, no electricity. I'm talking about the power of the Quran. This will illuminate your house to the inhabitants of the heavens. The angels say, oh look, this is a house where Quran is recited. This is a house where Quran is recited. SubhanAllah. And that is why they would wish that the death comes from these houses, because your soul would be elevated from such houses and you exude that nice fragrance. They would love that. But as soon as these last houses have a person who died, stinky smell comes. And the angels will not like it. What is this stinky smell? They don't want it. Get it back. We don't want it. We want that soul that comes from that shining house. Ibadallah, Prophet ﷺ, he gave you preference. For the recitation of the Quran, if you're not the imam, the position behind the imam is for you. You the reciter. You the memorizing of the Quran. Brothers, can we just come and fill up this gap, please? Okay, fill up this gap. You the reciters of the Quran. You are the ones. So, you could come late. And the imam started the prayer. And somebody was behind the prayer, behind the imam, who is not fit. You are entitled to move him. And you stay behind the imam. This happened, wallahi, by one of the companions, to one of the followers. To a person who was behind the imam, he does not know how to recite. But there's nobody there behind. So he came when the rak'ah started. So what he did, he pulled him and he went in front instead of him. That person was, thinking, now what can I do? I can't really punch him because I'm praying. And after the prayer is finished, he looked at him and he said, verily, I know what you're in your heart. But this is what the Prophet ﷺ told us. لِيَلِيَنِّي مِنْكُمْ أُولُو النُّهَى. Those people who should be behind me, those who recite the Quran, prudent and sedate. In case something happened to the imam, then this person will take over. But remember, the one behind the imam is not just a reciter. He has to be an adult. Where the imam, he doesn't have to be an adult. Look at that. The imam doesn't have to be an adult. As long as he recited the Quran, he would lead. But the one behind, he has to be what? Not just a reciter, ulunnuha. He has to be an adult. Because in case something happened, he will know how to react. But if you put a kid, he doesn't know what to do. Even if he's a reciter of the Quran. So behind the imam, he has to be, plus he's a reciter, he's also as well an adult, and a prudent and sedate. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, إِنَّ مِنْ إِجْلَالِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. For verily from the honoring of Allah Azza wa Jal, if you want to honor Allah, إِكْرَامُ ذِي الشَّيْبَةِ الْمُسْلِمِ. The one who is old, you always honor him. You always respect him. And وَحَامِلِ الْقُرْآنِ. The one who is holding the Quran, but غَيْرَ الْغَالِ فِيهِ. Not the one who's extreme in the Qur'an. Al-Jafi'an, the one who is far away from him. And Sahib Sultan al-Muqsid, and also the Sultan who is just. Now it's very important to know that this Qur'an is recited in a way which is not a way that the Prophet ﷺ described those people. لا تتجاوز قراءتهم تراقيهم. Their recitation does not go beyond their collarbone. It will not go down to their heart. It's just only in the windpipe and upwards. You know what happened to these people? قال يمرقون من الدين كما يمرق السهم من الرمية هم كلاب النار. It's called the dogs of the hellfire. They will pass through the religion like the arrow passes through the game hunt. Why? Because they did not implement the Qur'an in the way that the Prophet ﷺ had implemented the Qur'an. Those are the Khawarij. The Khawarij whom they consider themselves in terms of worship better than the companions. They fast more than the companions. They pray more than the companions. But the Prophet of Allah, he said, they are the dogs of the hellfire. If I to live to see them, لَأَقْتُلَنَّهُمْ قَتْلَ عَادٍ, I will kill them that the way that Allah Azza wa Jalla killed the people of Ad. Because these people, as soon as he recites the Qur'an, he would go to his neighbor and he would tell him that you are a mushrik, you are a kafir. He would hold the sword in him and makes it lawful for him to kill his brother. Those Khawarij had made a coup against who? Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali ibn Abi Talib, is he a kafir leader? Is he an unjust leader? I'm asking. They made a coup against this person, Ali ibn Abi Talib. And they fought him in the day of Nahrawan. But how did they start? They started by coming to the masajid. And innovation started in the masjid. The hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, the Athar of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud with Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. He said, before I go ahead with the cleansing of the heart, we need to work to make sure that the aqeedah is correct here. One day, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari comes to a masjid in Kufa. He finds people in groups. Group. And each group has a sheikh in the middle. And they have pebbles. And the sheikh says to them, count Subhanallah 100 times. They say with the pebbles, 1, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, 100 times. So they got 100 pebbles. Then, so, La ilaha illallah 100 times. Allahu Akbar, La ilaha 100 times. This is in the masjid. And they're doing it as well before the Fajr prayer. They're making qiyam with it. Dhikr of Allah with it. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari didn't say a word. He is a companion. He is a learned person, but he has more knowledgeable than him. He goes to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, a higher companion than him, whom the Prophet ﷺ told us to believe everything that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud tells us. إِذَا حَدَّثَكُمْ إِبْنُ أُمِّ عَبْدٍ فَصَدِّقُوهُ. Believe him. So he comes to his house. That's before the Fajr, the prayer. Before the Fajr. Imagine what's the Fajr now time? What time do you pray here? 3:45 or 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. So imagine he's coming to him at 3:30 to his house. And you come to somebody's 3:30, he'll send you to policeman. I call the policeman. He comes in before that. And he finds next to his house lots of people waiting. Waiting next to him. Why? I'm asking. You know why? Can you just tell me why? Anybody? Why? I don't know if some of you maybe know the story, but maybe you never thought to analyze the story. Why there's some people there waiting? He said, did Abu Abdul Rahman, who's Kunya Abdullah, did he come out? Yeah. He said, no, he's still waiting for me. Why are they waiting for him? Go on.
In the masjid.
No, they don't know what happened to the masjid. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari saw that in the masjid. But those people waiting, these are waiting. Huh? Yes. They want to grab that opportunity. Just for him to walk to the masjid. At least he'll benefit something. He'll ask a question. We come to the people during the middle of the day, nobody's caring. They just go to a house and nobody. These people, they don't waste a minute. They come in the Fajr. They want to learn. Abbas al-Sarraj, one of the great scholars, he collected 40 hadiths. And he called these hadiths the name Juz al-Baytuta. I'll tell you what the translation was. 40 hadiths, he got together them from 40 scholars. By the narration, single narration of the Prophet of Allah. But each scholar, he said to him, because not easy to take knowledge at that time. Like that, you take knowledge for free? No. I'm not talking money free. No, you want to make sure that you're student of knowledge. Can I have this hadith that you got from the Prophet of Allah? Well, okay. meet me in the Fajr prayer. If I see you the first person, I will give you the hadith. Otherwise, I'm not going to give you the hadith.